From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, August 10th. It's going to be a fantastic day today. Wonderful way to end the work week. Kick off on the cooler side with temps in the low 60s. Then we'll warm to the 80s by the afternoon. High humidity values won't be an issue. It's going to be really comfortable outside. So if you don't have plans to be out there, you might want to make some. And today, a gathering to pray for the Richmond Police officer shot during a traffic stop. A prayer vigil for Officer Sierra Burton begins at 7 tonight at the Richmond City Building. The Richmond Fire Department is hosting it. The department requests emergency responders bring their emergency vehicles in an additional show of support. And the Richmond Chief of Police says that Officer Burton is showing slight signs of responsiveness after surgery. He says Burton still has not regained consciousness and is still fighting for her life. Richmond's mayor is calling for continued support for Officer Burton. In a statement, he says, Richmond has stepped up in droves to support our officers. It means a lot right now, and we know our police department will continue to need your kindness in the days to come. Officer Burton is a brave young officer who put her life on the line daily so all of us could live in a safer community. Now IT-Mate is uncovering the long criminal record of 47-year-old Philip Lee, the man accused of shooting Burton. As we reported, police say Burton was assisting with Lee's traffic stop when he shot her Wednesday night. IT-Mate found that Lee is well known to police. His record goes back 30 years, starting when he was 17. His record includes several drug arrests, counts of resisting law enforcement, and multiple traffic violations. He was charged as a habitual offender in 2017, meaning he was not allowed to buy or have a firearm. IT-Mate talked to Lee's sister. She didn't want to go on camera, but told our Richard Essex that Lee had been in a tough mental state for a few weeks and didn't want to go back to jail. She said Lee had been on meth and hadn't slept in days. Local and national political leaders are remembering Indiana Congresswoman Jackie Walorski as a determined advocate for her beliefs. The House Minority Leader and several more congressional colleagues joined the governor and many others at Walorski's funeral in Granger yesterday. She and 3 others died in a car crash in Elkhart County last week. Walorski was a state lawmaker before serving nearly a decade in Congress.
I think every conversation we ever had involved RVs, veterans, small business, her neighbors, what was going on in the district.
In my family, we knew when Jackie called, I listened and pretty much just said, you're right.
My memories of Jackie are not going to be about policy. It's going to be about the person, just the person that Jackie was. She would describe herself as a happy Hoosier.
Walorski's burial was at South Lawn Cemetery in South Bend. A small plane flying from southern Indiana to Pennsylvania crashed. Local media outlets report all 3 people on board died. The Federal Aviation Administration says the single-engine plane took off from Bloomfield yesterday. The agency says the plane went down in a wooded area in a town called Metz in West Virginia. That's about 90 miles south of Pittsburgh. The FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board are investigating the crash. So far, no word if the victims are from Indiana. A coroner released the names of the 3 people killed in an Evansville home explosion. Investigators say Charles and Martina Height lived in the home. The husband was 43 years old, the wife 37. The explosion also killed their neighbor, Jessica Teague. She was 29 years old. It happened on Wednesday. The city's fire chief called the work to figure out what caused the blast a very tedious and lengthy process. Neighbors are asked to stay away from the area as the investigation continues. Sharp words from either side appear to have reached one point of agreement in the raid on former President Donald Trump. In a post in his social media platform, Trump calls for the immediate release of the warrant used to search Mar-a-Lago. Attorney General Merrick Garland is asking a court to do that, unseal the warrant and the list of items seized. Garland says there is a clear public interest in revealing the information and condemned verbal attacks on the FBI and the Justice Department.
I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. I am honored to work alongside them.
A new report says some of the classified documents agents were looking for included information on nuclear weapons. The story Washington Post says the raid was driven in part by the fear that such information could fall into the wrong hands. The January 6 panel has interviewed another member of Trump's cabinet and is in talks with others. A CNN report indicates the panel recently spoke with former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, and the panel could also interview former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Both Chao and DeVos resigned from Trump's cabinet a day after the insurrection. At least 9 cabinet-level officials who were still in their roles on January 6th are known to cooperate with the committee. And today, former National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien will speak virtually with the January 6th panel. CNN reports O'Brien joined Chao and DeVos in discussions about removing Trump from office through the 25th Amendment. O'Brien has denied those claims. And a newly released memo reveals some inside the Department of Homeland Security wanted to call out the Secret Service. As we reported, the Secret Service erased some of the text messages surrounding January 6th. The Homeland Security Inspector General looked into the issue. A draft of the memo from the Inspector General accused the Secret Service of resisting oversight and delaying results of the review. The final version of the memo was much less critical and only briefly referenced challenges investigators faced. A month after the memo, the head of the Inspector General's office formally complained to Congress about stonewalling. The Project on Government Oversight obtained the draft version. Today, the House is poised to pass the economic package crafted by Democrats. After many months of negotiations that divided party members, the bill includes measures on climate change, taxes, and health care. The bill passed the Senate with a vice presidential tiebreaker. The House vote is today, and enough Democrats have indicated support that it looks likely to pass. The nation's health leaders are making sweeping changes to pandemic guidelines. The CDC says the COVID-19 virus is here to stay. The agency says that at this point, most teenagers and adults have some level of immunity from vaccines and infection, so quarantining is no longer suggested after exposure. There's also less emphasis on social distancing. The biggest impact may be in schools, with the end of the test to stay strategy, which lets students stay in class after exposure only if they continually tested negative. The FDA now says one test may not be enough to determine whether one has COVID-19 or not. Wish TV medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams explains why.
So in this new era of Omicron and the new variants, we found that people are getting symptomatic earlier and they're testing before their viral load gets high enough to have a positive test. So the tests are still working fine, but the new variant is behaving differently. And so you get a negative test and you think you're fine. The FDA is saying, no, we want you to serial test, meaning test, and then test again 48 hours later. And that improves the chances that we're going to catch a positive test.
Health officials say they're now focused on protecting people from severe illness. The new guidelines suggest contact tracing should be limited to hospitals and places like nursing homes where high-risk groups live. Family and friends do not expect Anne Heche to survive the brain injury she suffered in a car crash last week. They released a statement saying the actress is in a coma and is on life support for a possible organ donation. Heche crashed into a house in Los Angeles. Both the car and house caught fire. Police are trying to figure out why she drove into the home. They've taken a blood draw to see if she was driving under the influence. And to business headlines now, Indiana has the 8th highest foreclosure rate in the nation. Adam Data found that 1 in 600 homes are in foreclosure in the state, with a total of 4,800. Prices of homes have risen, interest rates are heading higher, and pandemic stimulus is essentially over. All factors leading to some having a difficult time making payments. The average new car price hit $48,182 in July, a new all-time record. Kelley Blue Book says the price surpassed the previous record, which was just set in June. The COVID-19 pandemic saw a squeeze on the supply chain and increased demand for affordable vehicles. Now, the rush on affordable cars has subsided, leaving some buyers to opt for a more luxurious option than they may have chosen before. Sending gifts this holiday season is about to get more expensive. The U.S. Postal Service announced a plan to temporarily raise postage prices from October 2nd through January 22nd. Price increases will depend on the size of the package, how far it's going, and the type of parcel. More than half of the Generation X adult children don't have enough money to help their senior parents, according to a new study. AAG says older Americans are wary about tapping into their wealth as well. The AAG study also found the majority of Gen X adult children are concerned that inflation is hurting their parents' situation. 62% of adult children say they're worried about the impact that inflation's having on their parents' finances. The cost of back-to-school essentials, glue, markers, pens, backpacks, it's all jumped. Clover, which collects spending data from its more than 3 million consumers, says Scotch tape prices surged nearly 70% this year compared to 2021. The cost of two other popular school supplies, Sharpies and Elmer's glue, are up nearly 55% and 30% respectively in 2022. Victory Field is hosting a sold-out food festival tomorrow. It's called Baby Got Brunch. It's the first year for it. Organizers say the goal is to show off Indianapolis chefs and to benefit a local group. The inaugural version is helping the Milk Bank, a group that collects breast milk and donates it to the NICU. And it's the first of 6 free paddle days. The White River Alliance is offering its annual program again. You can join in on Fridays or Sundays all of August. All paddle days start at the White River Canoe Company in Noblesville. You do have to reserve a spot for $20, but you'll get that money back. Organizers say the goal is to reflect on the White River's value and to get people to protect it. The last 2 paddle days are also river cleanup days. And the Colts head to New York today, ready to start the preseason. Head coach Frank Reich says fans will see the majority of the starting offense in the first quarter Saturday. That includes new quarterback Matt Ryan. Reich's message to the team heading into tomorrow's game is clear.
Yeah, everything's a dress rehearsal. We know the score doesn't matter as far as, in the big picture, but we have a saying that everything matters as far as us getting better as a team, us determining who's making this team. So this is a great opportunity for individuals to showcase what they have, and then really for us as units, as an offensive, defensive, and special teams unit, just to show good, clean, sound, fundamental football, penalty-free football. That's really what you're looking for.
Kickoff against the Bills in Buffalo is 4 p.m. The Colts' final 2 preseason games will be at Lucas Oil Stadium. What a day for Hagerstown Little League. An extra inning thriller is sending the small-town Indiana team to the Little League World Series. Hagerstown beat the top team from Kentucky. Our Charlie Clifford spoke with the team after the game, now ready to win over America.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hagerstown, Indiana, a town of 1,700 people, is going to Williamsport. How's that sound? Graham Vinson, walk-off RBI single to win it to send your team to the Little League World Series. Graham, what did you think when you saw that ball land on some green grass?
I had so many different feelings, like happiness, sadness, just proud of these guys for everything. We're proud of you. All the hard work dedicated to this.
I don't even know. I really don't know. I can't believe I'm going to Williamsport. I missed it in 2013 with my oldest son. And my youngest got me there.
Come on, man, look at this back here right now, man.
It's awesome. The best community in the whole state.
How was the crowd today?
Awesome. Awesome. Crazy.
Means the world to these boys and these fans. Like, these boys have been doing Little League since they were babies, and a lot of their dads played baseball together, and they're all helping coach our kids, and it's the greatest thing ever.
Got some tears under those glasses?
Yes, lots of tears. My number 9's gone.
So here goes Hagerstown to the Little League World Series. First team from Indiana to go in 10 years. And there may not be a better story in America in Little League Baseball at the moment. In Whitestown, Charlie Clifford, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Congratulations and good luck. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.